Hey guys, welcome back. It's a little update here with the Chevelle. Got the body off the frame. Did that because just a lot of rust everywhere, and I think I'm gonna keep on this one. So got the body off the frame. Got it up on some 4x4s and jack stands here in the garage. It's probably not how you should do this at all, but that's what I got. And started getting into this car. I'll show you some of these panels. Got a little bit of holes in them, and I guess this was an AC car because it's got all the air conditioning through the floor. But you know, I didn't like that. Not a Flintstones kind of powertrain guy. So I started cutting some stuff out, and the more stuff I started cutting out and wire wheeling and getting clean metal, the more I found that there's just Bondo over all the holes. I don't understand that. A good one here I like is the right here in this, I don't know, where the door comes down and meets the lower rocker here. The guy just shoved some Bondo in there and sanded that over. So that's not a very good fix. There's little things like that I'm going to clean up and make this a little more solid. I got some bad examples, you know, like where below this toe board here, it was, I guess water was getting in and sitting right in here by the body mount. So it rotted in, you know, multiple layers in here, and if you really dig in there, you can pull out the, I don't know, the critters that were in there and all of that. So I'm gonna get in there and cut out all that gunk because I don't want it to keep growing. Gotta make a solid platform, I guess. Keep this car around for a while. But the fun thing is when you start wire wheeling in here, as you can see, I'm trying to take back and get out of this pitted stuff and try to get in here to this solid metal here so it doesn't blow through when I'm welding. And you'll see stuff like that where a guy had just come and skim coated some Bondo over that so you can hide that. So it makes it really fun little Easter egg project here when you're wire wheeling and think you got your little patch panel just the right size, and oh look, there's another hole. So that's fun. I'm gonna have to go wire wheel this whole thing down and weld some more panels in. So here's one panel I'm working with. I'll show you guys my method, which is probably completely wrong, but I do it. So I got this wire wheeled, and you can see this pitting in here. Actually got some holes going on down there, and then it's just real deep pits. So there's rust in there. I don't want it to come back, so I tend to go out to where I get some decent metal out here, nice, so it smooths up when you wire wheel it. I don't know, could be rust underneath, but that tells me it's pretty good metal. It's got some surface rust on there, but doesn't really catch my fingernail on, so that's pretty good metal. I'm going to cut that out. You can see where I have my other patch panel here and brought it out to the edge and then started welding and started wire wheeling, and notice I got some holes. So look at that. It's all covered in little Bondo pieces covering this up. So that was hidden, so now I got to fix this in addition to the one I just put in. So I'm going to cut just inside of this little guy here. And I drew my line out with a Sharpie, and then I'm going to put some tape on it, and then I can like masking tape over this. See my line, I'll trace it with the X-Acto knife, make it X-Acto the size, and I'll take that over to my donor piece, put the tape on there, and then I've got a perfect size representation. So let me do that. Alright, I got my panel on, or my tape on the panel. Just cut this out from the tape where I traced the lines of what I had marked on the car. And this just slaps right on whatever my donor piece is. And I'm going to cut this out and then take it over the car. Now we take our panel, throw that little guy in there, line it up. And it didn't really line up. So I got my panel liner right here, and I'm just gonna give it a little, hey, would you go in there and do that? Just ask it nicely. And usually they just go ahead and do it. I'm gonna put this down and hit this a few times. So I got it, you know, pretty close to where I want it to be. I mean, this isn't rocket surgery, just getting it close. It's a floor pan. And if you look, I got it bent up a little bit below my lines. Still in some pretty good metal there, so I'll place it about where I want it, And I'm just going to use this as a template, run my cutoff wheel right around here. That way I know I have both panels fitting right where I want them to be. And I'll have just that little bit of 1/8 inch gap, hopefully, if my hands don't do hand things and all over the place. And should get me a pretty close gap to the panel that I cut without having to go crazy with shaping it. So let's do that. Got it all cut out. Drilled a couple of them spot welds, and as you can see, the panel, I get it in there right. Well, it lines up perfect all the way around, and it has just that little bit of gap. So that's what I'm looking for. And you can kind of see what I'm working with here with most of this frame. Everything is full of these rust chunks, just everywhere. So I'm going to vacuum all of that out and get some rust something in there. Been using a lot of this here product placement. Rust reformer from the Harbor Freight. So I don't know, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Maybe I'll be doing this again in 10 years. But yeah, clean that up and we'll get this panel zapped in there and move on to the next one. Here we are, patch panel welded in. Smoothed out my welds just a little bit. Not too much, just a little. Now I'm gonna hit it with some, you know, self-etching primer. Like I did with some of these other spots. Kind of clean them up a little bit too. Not too much though, because it's a floor. And get this thing in. Before you professional body experts tell me that's the wrong way, I know it's probably the wrong way. That's how I do it. Afterwards, I go ahead and I coat this with lizard skin or some sort of sound deadener, and on the underside I'm going to use some seam sealer and then coat that as well. So should have a pretty thick barrier, if you will, to seal it. And these are all solid welded in, not tack welded, so I happen to have a pinhole or something in there, spot that I missed or burnt through. Hopefully seam sealer and other coats catch it. So that's my way to do it. Stay tuned for the next part.